So I'm about to get in the tub. Nice hot bath and shower. I'm really agitated. All it takes is for me to be looking up on the computer. Even though in my gut I know it. If I could talk to a non-biased doctor, psychiatrist, or regular, I know that person would back me up. That 30 milligrams a day, ever, to someone my mom's age. It says proceed with caution with Zyprexa in the elderly who have dementia. Obviously, these people are not even remotely proceeding with caution. They even let the nurses have free reign to give it to my mom to supposedly calm her down. And like I refer back to, I bet a non-biased doctor would say Zyprexa isn't used for that. It can't instantly calm anybody down. It's like a placebo thing, where the nurses feel that they have the power, and then my mom calms down on her own. And God help her if she ever doesn't, because she'll get another 5 milligrams of Zyprexa candy pill. You know, it's sick. And when I start looking it up on the computer, I get really upset. So it's been a while since I went for my walk. That's what I'm going to do, unless it's supposed to pour out, and I don't know if it is. It's actually the nighttime, but it's not night, it's not dark, you know what I mean? And that's alright, it doesn't get dark till like 8 o'clock. So I know, my fans get disappointed. Goddamn bug in the tub. Goddamn, I'm sorry. My fans get disappointed. This is gross because my feet were gross. If I didn't wash off my feet, now I'm sitting in grossness. Oh well. I can't do anything about it, because then if I did anything about it, it would, you know what I mean? You only have so much hot water, so I just have to deal with it. And I don't like it. I should have cleaned off my feet. Can't think of everything, especially when I'm all agitated, reading all about olanzapine. Proceed with caution in the elderly. These people throw caution to the wind, clearly. They can't even have a set amount of Zyprexa for my poor mom, no. She also gets an as-needed that I don't believe really does anything at all, except put more Zyprexa into her already high blood levels of Zyprexa, right? Lost my Omar, and I'm fully prepared. I'm fully prepared to lose my mom too, without ever even getting to hug her goodbye or anything. Because the sense of foreboding I have is just off the charts. It's off the charts. It does happen, it's meant to happen, and it, she'll be free from her lifetime of torment. That's not necessarily the case. Instead of, she might end up with a stroke or something, I hate these people. I hate them and their fucking as-needed Zyprexa. So disgusting. Repulses me. And my ordeal has only just begun, okay? Anywhere I have to get to is far away, obscenely far away on public transportation. It just all sucks. All sucks. Any of you who are listening to this have to be my long-time hardcore fans, because new fans aren't going to watch a dark video that wouldn't interest them. figure that much. But sometimes, you know, you get the most personal stuff from me when I'm just doing stream of consciousness in the tub. You know what I mean? You do. Where'd my soap go? Oh, there it is. Sometimes you get the most personal, intimate things from me when I'm doing stream of consciousness in the tub. I have the camera right there, leaning against the bucket, so it's nice dark, you know, so you don't see any grime or whatnot in our bathroom. No apple cider vinegar today. Just some Dr. something. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of Epsom salts, lavender, Dr. something, I think. Can't see it from here. Sending the video. I'm 191.4. I don't intend to stop there. And when I said before, you know, I'm hated out in the real world, that's not necessarily the truth, but it often is. Like, you don't understand. I'm really, I know by people's eyes how they're feeling about me and if they're hating me and, you know, thinly veiled hate and whatnot. And I know by people's eyes. I do. I know by their eyes. So it's not an exaggeration for me to tell you. And I've told you I've been treated periodically by people in stores, you know, employees who, you know, they're supposedly in charge, or, you know, nobody's totally in charge because everybody always has a boss over them, okay? But they throw their weight around. You file complaints, you don't hear back anyway, so what's the point? Right? You file complaints, you don't hear back, what's the point? So, Donald, my abusive ex knew everything about me, just as my YouTube fans now know everything about me. Donald knew it up to that point, where there was no Donald, no YouTube, no anything. He just knew up to that point. So my years up until age like 30, okay? But that was enough for him to know. You know what I mean? It was certainly enough for him to later use it against me. And the thing is, I wrote out on my EarthCam TV news that most of my fans did not bother reading, would never bother reading. I could probably count on one hand the number of fans that read that, okay? But Donald was one of them. Shows you he has a brain. He read every little bit of it, and again, he used it all. Because just watching me dance, you're not going to know shit about me, are you? You're not going to know anything about me. Nothing at all. But you read my deepest fears and desires and the horrible dysfunctional childhood and everything else that I'd had, suffered through, okay? You're going to go from finding me attractive to knowing every little thing about me, okay? Which is all fine and good if I had just not thrown caution to the wind, see? You can know everything about me as long as I keep you at bay. Donald knew everything. Including, by the way, they said you're going to get something in here that I don't know how often, if ever, I've said out without, not in the dark. Okay, it's not dark for me, it's dark because you're facing the garbage bucket that's black. Okay, it's a small little bucket. It's black or dark brown or something. Anyhow, Billy Joel didn't write Innocent Man for no fucking reason at all, okay? You men know if you're good, okay? And would never hurt me, but I can't have any way of knowing that ever, can I? No, I cannot. And last time I did that with somebody who knew everything about me, it nearly ended in my death or worse, so. And that was after just years of emotional, psychological, pseudo-sexual abuse at the hands of the man I had not only believed was my destiny, my soulmate. I didn't care if it was the opposite, and when I flew from Massachusetts to the LA area to meet him for the first time, I knew there was a likelihood, perhaps a high likelihood, he would kill me. I wasn't meeting him at his house, but, you know, like he taunted in the Econo Lodge tape, he probably wouldn't have got caught if he had killed me, but who knows. Fact is, I didn't care. I didn't care. It was worth it to me to be with, I thought was my destiny. I thought, you know, and you have to remember too, I know I've done it periodically out here, and I know I did it on the Alicia's World News TV, the Earth Kim TV news. I'm sure I did, I just don't remember, okay? I'm sure I described what I wanted in a guy that I had never gotten before, including from my 6-year Joe, okay? You have to have it in you. And, of course, again, I'm saying all of this, why would I believe to the contrary that other, you know, why wouldn't I believe Donald was going to be everything I'd ever dreamed of? Why wouldn't I believe that? Okay, why wouldn't I? In retrospect, because he's an evil monster who is intentionally deceiving you, Laura. He doesn't have it in him to be loving and passionate and make you feel so desirable and everything else that goes along with that. Joe didn't have that in him either. He was extremely loving, but he didn't have the other. And as I've said repeatedly out here, you don't condemn Joe for that, okay? You condemn Donald for deceiving me, okay? And at least Joe was giving and loving and everything, both in and out of the bedroom, unlike asshole, okay? I believe evil led me to. Whatever name you want to call evil, evil led me to Donald. And it was only my sheer force of will that caused me to survive. But here's the kicker. Everything I thought I was going to get from Donald and didn't, now, thanks to Donald, I am beyond. We're not talking a little bit here. Okay? I am beyond broken and damaged. Beyond broken and damaged. Don't know if that's irony. Would that be a case of irony? Where I would have been able, because I hadn't yet experienced the trauma of 11 years of Donald, see? I would have been able to welcome any of that with open arms. Instead, I got cursed. It's not like it was just a bad relationship. It was a horrible, traumatic, just numbing farce of a relationship. Every day I had to, you know, convince myself to continue on, continue breathing. deep down I knew it wasn't ever going to get better with Donald. You know, maybe I would have left and just gone into a freaking homeless shelter in California. I wound up in a couple of them when I finally escaped with my Omar. No, but I didn't want to leave Omar. That was the thing. He kept me going. He sustained me. But when Donald and his mom found out about my channel and I'd been talking about them out here and other places online, that was the end of that. That was the end of that. But yeah, if there had not been an Omar, who, like when I stayed in the emergency domestic violence shelter, you know, my case manager was like, you know, your Omar was like you having a kid, you know. You did not want to leave your kid behind with that abuser and his enabling mom. Even if he wasn't yet abusive to Omar, give it time. If Omar had gotten old and cost Donald money and been a nuisance and, you know, all the things that ultimately happened with the elderly Omar, you know, Donald would have allowed him probably to just, he would have, think of all the things I took care of Omar. Even you can accuse me, well, in the end you didn't let him go, and maybe you should have. But before that, lots of people would have let him go, okay? And he didn't need to be let go. Once we took care of his eyes and his cataracts, he was fine. He was the same Omar, nothing different. He could still run down the street with me joyfully. There was no reason that he couldn't live another 6.5 years almost. Even if the last year, I admit, was touch and go. That's why I was in constant, I was in consistent communication with my vet. And I had Omar to the vets, as you know, frequently, periodically, for everything. Okay? So that's neither here nor there. I wrote on my EarthCam TV channel everything I wanted from a guy. Every little thing that I'd never gotten. And then Donald didn't give me any of it when I 150,000,000% believed it would be the case. Since he expressed, if he knows everything and he feels bad for me and etc., It was all a lie. All a lie. Even his little, I'm going to put you on the goddamn bed and do everything I ever wanted to do to the most beautiful thing on the planet. See, it's all a lie. He tricked me. And I have a right to say that because I'm permanently damaged from it. Doesn't matter how long ago it was, I'm permanently damaged. Why do you think when Beach Guy Brian, admittedly, I admit it, had me so turned on, I maintained my willpower and I did not accept his invitation to go with him, go meet him at a hotel. He offered it. I'm not having you pick me up, but anyway, to meet him at a hotel, if I had to take public transportation. Okay? Why do you think I turned that down? Because no matter how physically attracted to me that man was, and vice versa, he knew nothing about me at all, and I knew that it would end up being bad for me. It would end up being awkward, it would end up being all the things. So, even though he had the ability to turn me on over the phone with his voice and yada yada yada, okay? There was no way I was going to do that, no way. Because I knew better. Capiche? I knew better. But don't think I wasn't tempted. Because I was. And it would pretty much be like that with any guy. Even if I was, physically attracted to him and vice versa. That's why I say I'm damaged goods. I don't say that to be flippant or to be over dramatic or any of the number of things. I am damaged goods. Donald could have called me, and he did, partial damaged goods before there was a Donald for 11 years, 7 years, 8 months of living hell as his girlfriend, and the final nearly 3 as his doormat former girlfriend. But you know what I mean? Donald said on that tape, analyzing me, you are never going to fall in love because you've been through such trauma in your life. And you fall in love and you risk getting your heart broken, and that's another trauma, and you're unable, you won't do it. You will not, you would never deal with another trauma. You wouldn't accept it, you wouldn't let it be. And then he proceeded to say, so you just might end up alone for the rest of your life. Well, at least I'm not with you, motherfucker. Being alone for the rest of my life is a million times better than being with you. Sad as that is to say. And your enabler mother. Who was pissed when she's like 70-something because she had Donald late in life. Pissed that men are looking at me when I'm 40 or 40-something. Oh, men still look at you, jealous or whatever. I.e., they still look at you, but not at me. Okay, but I'm 29 years younger than you hope. What do you want from me? And I still look good for my age even then. Still look good for my age even now. Only because I fought and fought. Anyway, anybody who watched me off my EarthCam TV, I'm quite certain, even though I don't remember, I vaguely remember describing everything my fantasy lover would be and do, and not just in the bedroom. And you have to have that in you. You can't fault Joe that he didn't have it in him. I guess it goes down to desire. There are some people, men and women, who are just more passionate and feel much more desire for their partner. Uncontrollable. Does that make sense? I know I've said this out here before, but Lord only knows when. May have been years ago. I have all new fans. But we go back to the same thing. Most of my fans don't watch these dark videos. Okay? They don't. My dark videos never end up with like 1,000 views or something, you know. Sometimes they end up with very few. Because again, most of my fans would find them boring because they can't see my body they find so desirable or attractive or whatnot. But any of my hardcore fans listening to this, I'm sorry because it's completely dark, they're getting really deeply personal stuff that if I've shared it out on my channel, and I believe I haven't in a long time. So, you know what I mean? I ate today. Perhaps I didn't eat enough though. I'll make sure to wash my hair sitting down here and do some cold. Make sure I don't stand up and faint. That'll probably be the end of me. End of my mom too. Kill 2 mentally ill birds with 1 stone, right? I wouldn't necessarily die, but I might. If I knocked myself unconscious, there's still water in the tub. I have no phone in here, you know, so I could die. But I'm very careful. Again, this is my lot in life. My lot in life is to be in this tiny tub I don't like, but it's better than nothing. Just like Donald's doling out his affection like breadcrumbs the last 2 or 3 years of our relationship, and then You already know what he would do to me. Thankfully, not very often, of course, when he was shit-faced. You know what I mean? That was probably the last 2 years. I don't know. 2 or 3, maybe. Or maybe he stopped pleasuring me within, like, if we were 7 years, 8 months, with, like, after the 4th year. Or 4th, I don't know. I have it all written down on my calendars, though. I keep track of all of that. Not just with him, with anybody. With Joe, with him. With any of my little boy toys during my self-destructive, brief self-destructive phase. It didn't last very long. Although I made the most of it. And then when Joe left me and I thought I was not going to be with Joe ever again, I resumed my self-destructive phase. But it didn't last long. Oh. Yeah, there are 1,000,001 reasons why I say I have to be alone. 1,000,001 reasons why I say I'm damaged goods. I don't throw around that term to be melodramatic. It is the fucking truth. You understand? It's the fucking truth. It's like 2.5 minutes. Unfortunately, it's the truth. Okay, it's the truth. That's hot in here. Even with the curtain wide open. And it's okay. Right. I won't stand up quickly. I will make sure I cool down. I wash my hair in warm rather than, this hot. I haven't been in here very long. It's just, I made sure the water was nice and hot because I like that. You understand? I like it. I don't know if this is playing, but Kid Rock's Devil Without a Cause, that really old one, is what was playing when I met Donald in that in that hotel room in the pitch dark, and he could have killed me. There are people that kill even if they know they might get away with it, Like he said, it was dark. The guy probably didn't pay attention at the front desk of who Donald was. He could have slipped in and out and killed me, and that would have been it. And I thought that the entire time, and then when it didn't happen, it was fate. He was my mate. I finally found my mate, my destiny. You get what I'm saying, people? As we have 40 seconds left, 50 seconds. Laura, Alicia is damaged goods. Admittedly.